Hi everyone. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the distributive property. Now, to help me introduce this topic, I want to take a look at this example. How would you multiply 6 times 23 without a calculator? Well, one way we can do that is by considering a rectangle. Say we had a rectangle that had a length of 6 and a width of 23. Then, to find the area of this rectangle, all I would need to do is multiply these two sides together. And that's going to give us the answer we're looking for. And to help make this calculation even easier, we can split the top number up here. I can split the 23 up into 20 and 3. And now all I need to do is just multiply all of these together. 6 times 20, that's 120. 6 times 3 is 18. And now to get the total area, all I need to do is I just need to add those together. And when I do that, I get 138. And that's my answer. The reason I wanted to show you this is it can be helpful when we're asked to multiply expressions like this. So here, we're multiplying 2 times x plus 4. Whenever you see brackets like this beside a number, that just means we're asked to multiply. And what we can do to do this is we can consider a rectangle, right? That has a length of 2 and a width of x plus 4. And the area of this rectangle will give us our answer. So let's go. We have 2 times x. 2 times x is just 2x. Also, we have 2 times positive 4. 2 times positive 4 is just positive 8. And now we can see the total area of our rectangle is just going to be 2x plus 8. And something you might notice here is all I'm doing is I'm taking the number outside of the brackets here, the 2, and I'm multiplying it by each of the terms inside the brackets. Right, so you'll see, I'm taking the 2 here and I'm multiplying that by x to get 2x. I'm also taking the 2 and multiplying that by 4 to get 8. And then I'm just adding that up to get the answer. And this is called the distributive property. Now, the distributive property tells us we want to multiply the term on the outside of the brackets by everything, each term, inside of the brackets. So let's take a look at some examples here. So the first one we have 3 times 2x. Well, we know 3 times 2 is just 6, right? So 3 times 2x is just going to be 6x. Next, we have negative 2 times 4n. Well, negative 2 times 4 is just negative 8. So, negative 2 times 4n is just negative 8n. Next one, we have 4x times x. Well, x times x is x squared. Why is that? Well, let's think about some examples here. Right, if you had 3 times 3, that would be 3 squared, right? 4 times 4 is 4 squared. So it stands to reason that x times x is just x squared. So if we're multiplying 4x times x, that's just going to give us 4x squared. Part D, 2x times 3x squared. Well, one way I can do this is by expanding this out, right? Expanding this expression out. So something we know is we have an x squared here. So we're multiplying 2x by 3x squared. X squared, that's the same thing as x times x. We just saw that. And guess what? We have a 2 times 3 here. 2 times 3 is just 6. We're also multiplying x by itself 3 times. If we multiply x by itself 3 times, that's just x cubed. So my answer here is 6x cubed. Okay, next example. 3 times x plus 2. All we're doing here is we're going to use the distributive property, right? We need to multiply what's on the outside of the bracket, in this case the 3, by each term inside of the brackets. So I'm going to need to take the 3 and multiply that by x. And I'm going to take the 3 and multiply that by 2. Three times x is just 3x. 3 times 2 is just 6. So my answer here is 3x plus 6. Okay, next example here. 5 times a minus 3. For this one, we're just using the same idea that we did here, right? Again, the distributive property tells us we want to multiply the term on the outside of the brackets by each term inside of the brackets. So here what I want to do is I'm going to take the 5 and multiply that by a. Right, so let's do that. And I'm going to take the 5 and multiply that by negative 3. 5 times a is just 5a. 5 times negative 3 is negative 15. And there's my answer. Okay, next question here. Negative 2 times 7 minus 3x. What I want to do here is, again, I'm going to take the number on the outside and multiply it by each of the terms inside of the brackets. So I'm going to take the negative 2 and multiply that by 7. And I'm going to take the negative 2 and multiply that by negative 3x. Negative 2 times 7 is just negative 14. Negative 2 times negative 3x, well, we know negative 2 times negative 3 is just positive 6. So negative 2 times negative 3x is positive 6x. And there's my answer. Last example here. 4x times 6x plus 2. Again, just like before, I'm going to take what's on the outside of the brackets, the 4x, and multiply it by each term inside of the brackets. So here in this example, I'm going to take the 4x and multiply that by 6x. And I'm going to take the 4x and multiply that by 2. 4x times 6x, well again, we know 4 times 6 is 24. Also, x times x is x squared. So, 4x times 6x is 24x squared. Also, we're adding 4x times 2. 4x times 2, well 4 times 2 is just 8. Right? So 4x times 2 is just 8x. And that's my answer, right? 24x squared plus 8x. So, just to summarize, the distributive property tells us to multiply the term on the outside of the brackets by each term inside of the brackets.